So yesterday we broke the news that Elrufai scampered for his life, jumped the fence, ran for his life when some sponsored thugs, as he reported by the government, chased him and disrupted his political movement in Kaduna. This morning we are having report that Elrufai has stated that Tinubu does not have the monopoly of violence, that indeed they will unleash every necessary means to bring down this government. If people will no longer have the opportunity to hold meetings just because they are of the dissenting voice. It is now getting interesting, and the real deal, the real action is about to start. While the South might not necessarily be on the side of the likes of Elrufai, like they enjoyed in 2014, will be unraveled as we go ahead in this program. Welcome. If you're just joining, please kindly like, subscribe, and share. This is News Nigeria. So we understand that the ADC political party are presenting themselves as the only viable alternative for the Nigerian people to support aside from Bola Ahmed Tinubu's APC. They have submitted so many discussions and arguments that Tinubu has destroyed the economy. He has impoverished the Nigerian people, which I quite agree. I mean, when Buhari was there, a dollar was 720 naira per dollar, and under Tinubu today, it is 1,005 to 1,006 per dollar. Why that is a great? We must also acknowledge that when Tinubu came on board, and in alliance or in agreement with all other oppositions, there was an agreement that they will take away subsidy. And I think this is one of the things Tinubu did. However, he has not implemented it the way he should, which I am honestly against on. I am of the support that subsidy shouldn't have been removed as at the time it was removed. In fact, subsidy should not have been removed until Nigeria has what we call constant power electricity. However, that is not the conversation of the day. Elrufai today, who was the one that campaigned for Tinubu in Cheltenham. Alright, Elrufai was one of the brain behind the emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But here we are today, he is trying to bite the finger that fed him. Yes, we all know that Elrufai wouldn't have become so politically relevant without Buhari and Tinubu. So many people knew that it was in the era of 2012, 2013 when APC was in its formative stage that Elrufai rode on the backs of this political behemoth, Buhari and Tinubu. And of course, he won his election and he became the president. Alright, what were the gimmicks they did against Jonathan? Such as bringing down the government, such as making some states ungovernable, such as frustrating the government of the day as a den, using insecurity, using all manners of vitriol, politics of bitterness, heating up the polity, pushing revolutionary movement, pushing aggressive rhetorics in the north, religious bigotry. These were the things they did, and it worked effectively. And I think this is the same thing they want to use right now against Tinubu. It will work if only Tinubu sleeps on the bicycle. Right? If they will not, the ADC do what is right, do what so many other parties have done, rotating the presidency to the south, it will not work. But if they do that, those agendas and actions that I aforementioned, such as charging up the people, pushing all manners of rhetorics, it will work, because the southern people will now queue behind ADC significantly. As it stands today, so many obedience, just as I am, are just watching. So many obedience are indifferent at this stage, asking the question, ADC, where are you going with your actions? We cannot continue to follow you sheepishly and blindly, because we are not zombies. We need to know what our fate is into the December period to January, February, when the primaries will be held. Is ADC zoning their presidential ticket to the south? Or do you guys want to throw it open? Do you guys want to start having conversations that there is no zoning? Alright, because the first thing that happened to one of the political leaders of ADC was Aregbesola. While he was stoned, he has been banished. by the Oshun people. He was stoned. He was right there in campaign and they stoned him. They told him, you all cannot be in ADC trying to bite the fingers that fed all of you. I mean, if we can argue Elrufai's matter as to what contribution Tinubu made in Elrufai's political career and journey, but nobody can deny the one of Aregbesola. That Aregbesola wants to be a saboteur. Do you want to hand the presidency to Atiku? Yes, because we know that Aregbesola and Atiku are closer allies. In fact, according to the report, it was relationship of Atiku and Tinubu became stronger through Aregbesola during the periods of early 2000s. So we have to understand that the ADC will only prosper, will only achieve what they aim to achieve if they do the right thing. Otherwise, many people will remain unconcerned. Yes. Elrufai got a hell of a beating yesterday. How many people are defending him? The only people defending Elrufai are his northern sons and daughters. In the south, into the middle belt, so many people are saying you deserve it. That's what people are saying. And when leaders of your positions like this become, worthless in the eyes of the people who are supposed to vote them, then you must understand that if Tinubu eventually does what he needs to do in the on the election day, nobody will go out there and fight for them. It's as simple as that. As simple as ABC. So the ball is in the court of the northern Nas. If you want us to fight, if you want us to have sense of belonging, it is up to you. But if you know you want to see your nakedness, if them born on away, mokuna no zone am now. You know what it concern me? It no concern us. We will just leave Tinubu there, continue to press their neck. Press them like agege bread. So it's that. Listen, I am not encouraging violence. Excuse me. I have not said I encourage the violence. And neither have I said that Elrufai is innocent. Okay? Yeah. But one thing is clear, when you are doing the wrong thing, and the people you are spiting, you think they will rise up and fight for you when when karma and nemesis catches up with you, then you are just joking, you are just a joker. Look into the mirror, Elrufai. Look into the mirror. These are signals. These are signs that immediately you need to speak up for the zoning to happen to South in ADC. The man who led the zoning agenda in APC between the period of 2022 into 2023 was Elrufai. If you want posterity to vindicate you, you must right now begin to push for zoning to South in ADC. Yes. Because we will not shed tears, we will not cry more than the bereaved when wars begin to betide you. Yeah. There's no way the North will defeat Tinubu. Tinubu has sent. Listen, he has showed mostly all his cards. He has showed you he's not ready to play fair. He has showed you he's ready to play brutal. He has showed you he's not ready to joke with you guys. And he has told you guys, I am not Jonathan. You all will use insecurity to derail. He has said it that that's not going to happen. Not on his watch. I mean, we can see that people like Shegumi now are shedding tears, crying like a naked chicken. Saying that Tinubu wants to kill all the Muslim leaders. Why is Tinubu going into collaboration with Israelis, the Mossad intelligence unit? If you do not want to have a Tinubu kicked out, the only person that can do that is a Southern candidate. And the person that I see now, who is quite popular with the people in the South, is nobody else but Peter Obi. But like I've always said, that the North will fall into the booby trap of Tinubu. Clear. Because the North are very self-centered, very greedy, and they think that they are superior to the South. So they will find it difficult to allow Obi to go in there. The man who they are trying to use as a weapon to curb the wings of Tinubu has come out, which is Jonathan. Jonathan has said, listen, guys, I will not be an ingrate because I know that the Igbos got my back while I was in power. And I'm not going to be the Adu, right, that will stifle or that will make it impossible for an Igbo candidate to emerge now that the chances are very high. These are the words of Jonathan to all the emissaries ADC, PDP have sent to him. He has said, I am not going to run because the Igbos quite supported me significantly. And indeed, the Igbos quite enjoyed a lot of appointments under Jonathan. And he has said, no, he's not going to run. He has had enough. That the North should do the right thing, zone to the South, pick whoever Southern candidate you want it to be, whether Amechi, whether Peter will be, it doesn't matter, but it has to be the South. Jonathan said this, he has said it. I mean, the articles are out there. So when people like Jonathan are already speaking against Northern agenda for 2027, then why wouldn't I also speak against it? I am just an ordinary citizen who understand that the Nigerian people are never won. For as long as we remain entrapped in this Lugard ideology and project, where we were forcefully married in 1914, and we have not been able to divorce ourselves, unfortunately, we must continue to control and maintain ourselves the way it is. It has to be the turn of the North, it has to be the turn of the South. Period. And it has to be constitutionalized. I seek for that. Because the North, at every point in time, when they are having their 8 years, there will never be a time the South will come out and say they want to cut it short. The South don't do it. In 2019, there was no tangible or no powerful top Southern politician. The likes of Kingsley Mohalu, Showore, as at that time, they were still featherweights. They were unpopular. And even at this very day, they are still unpopular. So, but that's not the conversation here. The point is, whenever the North are in power, you will at least see where a Southerner will come and say, let us cut it. It doesn't happen. The only time we experience such incidents is when the Southerner is there. The North will start cooking up all manners of rhetorics. They start telling us that the country is suffering, the country needs to be pushed in the right direction, or they'll tell you that the Southern candidate wants to split the country, the Southern candidate is against the North. I mean, the same story they keep repeating over and over. Said it under Obasanjo, said it under Jonathan, and now they are saying it under Tinubu. And we as a Southerner, we must begin to speak truth to power. We must begin to collaborate amongst ourselves, because our differences or conflict is why the North are very much powerful today. Let's listen to the words of this young man.
Meet him. Where did that emanate from? Did the president actually mention Senator Ahmed Lawan?
Look, you have to ask the party chairman that, because I'm not privy to any discussions that he had with the president. All we knew was that we were hearing stories that Ahmed Lawan is the anointed candidate, and we felt that we had to take a position as governors to end the charade. And when we met the president, we asked him very, very clearly, Mr. President, we are willing to support any candidate that you anoint, providing the candidate is from the South. And the president told us in that meeting, which was followed up by a press statement by his spokesman, my Barewa senior Garba Shehu, that I have anointed no one. That statement went viral, and it reinforced the position of the 12 northern governors that the presidency should come from the South. What the president told us in that meeting is, go and meet with the party, give me 5 names, I will look at them, I will consider anointing one of them. And that we did. The following day, we did that, and we had 5 names for the president. And he looked at the 5 names, all from the South, and he said, these names are fine. Any one of these can lead Nigeria. Let's go to primaries. May the best man win.
Why? I
And
mean,
we asked him,
it looks... Yeah.
any one of the 5 that you want us to support, because 16 of us, 16 APC governors, pledged that whoever the president picked and said, out of those 5, and said, go to the primaries, 16 of us that were not tied to any candidate, we are not contesting. I mean, we exempted Umahi, Kayode Fayemi, a few governors that we knew are tied. We said, whoever the president anointed will respect the office by doing what he wanted. But he told us, I am anointing no one. Go to primaries and vote for any one of these 5. Any one of these.
Governor Elrufai, yeah. Where did things change? Because this was a President Buhari who said to us, myself and my colleague, when we interviewed him, that he said he had a favorite and that he was going to, but he doesn't want to, he has his name close to his chest, but he doesn't want to name names because they will go after such a person. And he has also asked that a chance of reciprocity, to feed his successor. But in another breath, it does look like he said he doesn't have an anointed candidate. What changed? What happened?
What the president said when you interviewed him was, yes, he has someone in mind, but he's not going to reveal who that person is because the person may be eliminated. Okay, that is not to say that out of the 23 that came out, the president's choice was among the 23. Maybe it wasn't. Okay, now when we met the president, we told him very, very clearly that we intend to reciprocate. What the reciprocity is talking about, we understand, we intend to do that. And 16 governors out of 22 were willing to go with his choice. But in his own wisdom, he said, look, I cannot choose among 5 of these because they are all qualified and competent to be the president of Nigeria. Let's leave it to the democratic process. Let's allow the delegates that represent members of.
So you just finished casting your votes and quite a large turnout in your ward and your unit. How do you feel about this?
Very happy. That means that people identify with the election and people are also worried that there are no elected people at the grassroots. And so today is the opportunity for them to choose who would represent them at the local government level from the councillorship to the chairmanship position. I have to say with this, I watched particularly your outfit when you are saying that that party. That is not correct. We should have the experience of Nigerian voters in elections. You have general elections, which is being conducted by INEC. You have local elections, which is being conducted by the State Independent Electoral Commission. And you know that most cases, elections start from 10 o'clock in the morning. So when you go to a polling booth by 9 and you think you expect people to come out by that time, that is not the usual case. I watch you when you said Ward 13, which is Robala. That is purely a commercial area. You didn't go to the residential areas. I also expect that you should go to the rural areas like Echie local government, like Ikure local government, Emoha local government. Go to areas like Akukotora, Sanator, go to Abuodua, go to Ahuda East, Ahuda West. And see what is going on. Don't just, we have about 7,000 polling units. And you just go and take 2 polling units in the commercial city, in that you know that there are no residents there. And then you judge that there's apathy. But you can see what has happened here now. So also it is in all other units. Yes, you can have some units, you may not have people who may turn. That does not mean that out of 7,000 units, you have that same. No, it's not correct. And then I've also heard of you talk about, because there's no beavers. We have also complained in the general election of the problems of the beavers. And instead of you to praise research, look at the security agencies. You have not heard of any violence. You've not heard of carrying of the ballot boxes. You see the electoral materials are there. People are casting their votes. Commend them. As far as you are concerned, this election is peaceful. As far as you are concerned, people are trooping out. By the time the election will close, you will see the number of persons. So we're very happy.